Hello, everybody. It is the Friendly Weirdo again, and we have got another creepypasta reading to do. And this is actually one of the more popular creepypastas. It is the Max and Ruby one, which I believe is the second creepypasta I've ever looked at when I was like doing all the when I was like randomly interested in creepypastas for like a week or two. So I decided to read it because it's a doozy, folks. Let's start. It was just as Christmas that went by and things were getting busy. I had to start buying presents for the family. I had finished shopping, but I still needed to grab a present for my little cousin. She's not very hard to shop for since she's 4. She likes things like Peppa Pig and My Little Pony. She really liked, and I say liked for a reason. Okay, Max and Ruby. So when I decided to go look for a present, I figured something like a Max and Ruby DVD would have been perfect, since she liked to watch it on a daily basis. However, Christmas meant that most of the online DVDs were sold out on most places. I went to look on eBay as well, but I figured I could not trust what condition the DVDs would have been in, so I was stuck in a rut for a while until the package arrived. I was at home scrolling for a stupid DVD until I heard the sound of something being pushed into my letterbox. I caught hold of it before my dog did and looked at the package. It seemed to be wrapped really badly with what looked like grease marks and stains on it. Naturally, like anyone would, I decided to open the package. Inside was something that I could not explain. Okay, first of all, if I had a suspicious package at my house, I would not open it. I don't care how desperate I was for something. I would not open a package that just happened to fall on my doorstep, especially one that had grease stains and shit on it. And second of all, is this person really trying to put this off as like some sort of horror, like magical horror thing? Because that's really dumb. Now, Chucky Freak, for the record, is not the person who made all these creepypastas. As far as I know, this person just compiled, actually, he did compile all the creepypastas into one easy to read piece on Wattpad. So if you want to read it, just look up Creepypasta Ruin Your Childhood on Wattpad if you want to read all of them, because there's plenty of them in this thing. It seemed to be wrapped fairly. Oh yeah, I read that already. It was a Max and Ruby DVD, but I had not seen one like it online. It was like some little kid had drawn on the front cover with a marker. The title was just Max and Ruby with what looked like a poorly drawn illustration of Max and Ruby on the front. There were no names or anything, but on the back it had a list of 4 episodes, all with blunt titles. Episode underscore 0001, episode underscore 0002, episode underscore 0003, and episode underscore 0004. I gave the DVD a watch over, and to my surprise, the episodes were all in perfect quality and seemed to have no flaws. It was as if it was a real DVD just with a homemade cover. The only thing I thought was odd was the episode selection screen. The episode had names, but they were all called Max and Ruby 1, with the numbers being changed as it went down the list. The actual selection screen was just a plain white screen with black text with the episode list and nothing else. After giving it much thought, I decided to change the cover to something a little nicer by printing out a DVD cover that I had found on Google and tracked down the names of the episodes so that they were labeled right. I left the episode list screen alone because I figured it was self-explanatory. Christmas went by and things were fine. I gave my little cousin her DVD and she was happy with it all through Christmas, but that was only because she had not watched it yet. Oh, we're getting there, guys. Oh, sorry about that. On Boxing Day, Boxing Day is a holiday celebrated the day after Christmas Day, thus being the second day of Christmas died. It originated in the United Kingdom and is celebrated in a number of countries that previously formed as a part of the British Empire. Boxing Day is spent with family and friends at open gatherings with lots of food, fun, and friendship and love. And basically a bunch of leftover turkey. That's great. Okay, that's interesting. I did not know that was a legit holiday, actually. Okay. The family had gone out for a meal and left me to babysit my cousin. I was not too bothered by it being left at home. I figured now was a good time to put on the DVD for her. I had put on the DVD and let it play while I was in the kitchen eating my dinner. From what I could hear, she had watched episodes 1 to 3 so far. I was just about to finish off my noodles when I heard my cousin screaming from the other room, dropping everything. I had ran into the living room and saw my cousin curled up on the floor screaming. I looked up at the TV and I felt my heart in my throat. What I caught a glimpse of was the most disturbing thing I had ever seen. It was what appeared to be a frame of Max and Ruby standing next to each other in complete darkness. What made it so horrible was their lack of faces. They had lost their noses and mouths, and their eyes were replaced with big hollow holes. The colors were disgusting blood red, and there was a faint static in the background. That was the most disturbing thing you had ever seen? Doesn't even sound that scary, honestly. I mean, it sounds weird, but it doesn't sound scary. The sound was replaced with what sounded like Max and Ruby theme playing backwards, with the faint sound of static in the mix of it all. It had to be the most disturbing thing I had ever seen. Again, that doesn't sound that disturbing, and if it is, if it's the most disturbing thing you've ever seen, that's very sad. And it must have been on the screen for at least 20 seconds before the screen went black and the DVD turned off, which alone was weird because DVDs do not usually talk by themselves. Oh, he is trying to make it sound supernatural. Oh boy. Like these creepypastas are unbelievable enough, but at least a lot of them, even the Squidward suicide one was in some realm of reality. But now this guy is trying to pretend that this DVD is haunted. It's haunted by something for some reason. This ought to be fun. I was able to calm my cousin down, telling her it was not real, and she had just had a nightmare as she had fallen asleep in front of the TV. However, I knew in my mind it was completely real. My parents had woke me up and told me that they were going to be out all night, so this was going to be the best opportunity to look at the DVD more closely. I did not mention it to them, and as soon as the hung up as they hung up, that's a mistake there, I grabbed the DVD and stuck it on my laptop. As soon as it loaded, I noticed that episode underscore 0004 had now been replaced with Rip Mommy and Daddy, which sent a deep chill down my back. Since my cousin was now asleep, I kept the sound on low and proceeded with the episode. Why not just use headphones? I don't know when this took place, but like you could have at least had some form of headphones or something. Anyway, normally an episode of Max and Ruby would have 3 short stories, but this episode only had one. It started off quite lighthearted. Max and Ruby were playing tag in the garden, and their parents were on the porch watching them play. Or on the porch, sorry. However, something was off. The sound was playing in reverse, and the parents' faces were that of sadness. It panned to the mother and father, and in a voice of deep sorrow, the father spoke. It's such a shame, he sighed. It then cut to the sound of static and a large scream, followed by the sound of 2 people choking. The sound was so realistic. The sounds were so realistic, it made me almost physically sick. The scene then switched to Max and Ruby standing in the front of what looked like a gravestone labeled Rip, Mommy, and Daddy. The 2 of them had no faces. At this point, there was also no sound, apart from the faint static. This scene remained on screen for about a minute and a half before it cut away to black. It then changed scene again, now showing Max and Ruby sitting in Ruby's room. Both of them were sobbing. The sobs were so realistic and heart-wrenching that it sounded like it was taken from a real person mourning. What happened next was the most disgusting, yet saddest thing I had ever witnessed. The scene had changed from Max sitting in his room. He was standing on a chair with a noose hanging from the ceiling. He had brought it around his neck. Oh my god. I sound so fucked up for laughing at this, but Jesus. The scene faded to black and the static got louder. Almost instantly, it then cut to Ruby walking in on her brother. She let out a gut-twisting scream. The camera was panned on her face as the sound of the chair being kicked and the same choking from before began to play. The picture of Ruby's face stayed on screen for a good 5 minutes. This time, her eyes returned as the same gaping holes, and as before, there were no other facial features. The static slowly grew louder and drowned out the sounds of her cries. The scene was cut to black with loud static with the scene. When the scene returned, Ruby was sitting now on her own in the garden by 2 gravestones. One was labeled Rip Mommy and Daddy, and the other Rip Brother. You really couldn't have just said Rip Max. Like that sounds fucked up to say brother. At this point, I had already been sick and was still sitting all shaken. The episode seemed to have come to an end at least. As the Max and Ruby theme song played slowly in reverse, I was about to eject the DVD when the same image came up like it did on the TV. This time, however, there was a text above the 2 rabbits that said, "Death is our only release." It stayed on this for a few seconds before the DVD finally popped out of my laptop. I sat there trying to contemplate what had happened. In my shock and fear, I had made the stupid decision to break the DVD up as much as I could. Before leaving the house, I shoved the pieces down the drain. Wow, that's a bit excessive for a scary DVD. Thankfully, I kept a few screenshots and saved them to my laptop. The next couple days went past. without anything unusual happening. That sentence sounded weird. I had a few nightmares about the DVD, but luckily that was all. My cousin had gone back home along with the rest of her family. It was a late night, and my parents had gone out to dinner, leaving me to watch TV. My parents go out to dinner a lot. I heard what sounded like someone posting something through the door. At this point, the DVD had left my mind, so I had not told anyone about it. However, it all came floating back when I looked down at the letter in front of me. It was just a messy folded up paper, and it read, "Death is our only release." Oh my God. That's just Jesus. Oh God, these creepy pastas are so fucking stupid. This one has got to be one of the dumbest yet. I mean, Creepypasta was basically trying to make everything sound all supernatural and scary, but it just makes it sound even stupider. And I give props to the guy for his imagination and descriptions. That was a lot of creepypastas have that, but goddamn, that was so stupid. But that's not all the stupidity we're going to deal with. Oh no 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 no! Because there's plenty of that to go around, and we'll be catching up with it some other time. I don't know when, but it'll probably be soon. Until then, stay beautiful.